5, 6, 7, 8. Dance with me in my backyard. Could see drive me round the block. Go in a loop till the one up. Want to the one and
Two birds suddenly appear every time you are near, just like me. They want to be close to me.
5, 6, 7, 8. Dance with me in my backyard. Could see fire in corner. Drive me round the block. Go in a loop till the one up. Want to the one and
おはよう、こんにちは、おやすみ。セプテンバー、調子はどうだい？ちゃんと学校行ってるかい？あたしはね、ぶっちゃけ学校とかクソくらいだと思ってたよ。明日学校に行きたくないと思った君へ、大丈夫、大人は楽しいぞ。
When pizza and egg rolls collide, this is what you get. Paper down, pepperoni in, mozzarella cheese stick. Roll that thing nice and tight, you know what I'm saying? Give them a bubble bath, perfect golden brown. Brush with that garlic and herb butter and let that Parma and Romano reign. Plate it up, serve with your favorite marinara, and enjoy.
간지럽힌 샴푸를 쓰세요. 올려다보는
Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules.
I'm the hottest, you ain't never gotta heat me up. I'm present when I'm absent, speaking when I'm not there. Call them bitches scary cats, I call them Carol Baskins. Body yaddy 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 yaddy
This the remix. Doja.
Didn't have to know it, keeping me in the moment. I bet you hadn't known it. Why don't you say so?
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring.
I bow down to pray. I try to make the worst seem better. Lord, show me the way to cut through all this worn out leather. I've got 100 million reasons to walk away, but baby, I just need one good one to stay.
For today's video, we're gonna recreate Chowking pork chow fan. Let's start with the wok, and we're gonna cook the scrambled eggs, and once it's done, we're gonna take it out. Next, in the same pan, let's cook the ground pork. Add liquid seasoning, soy sauce, black pepper, and garlic powder. Cook until the oil comes out, and we're gonna add some oyster sauce. Cook for another 2 minutes, and we're gonna add the day-old rice. And just mix it well. If you guys want the full recipe, check out my Instagram at Russell Food Story. And now we're adding water, spinach, and spring onions. Mix again and add the scrambled eggs. Give it a final mix. You can serve it alone or you can put some toppings. Also, I am blanching some water spinach for the side dish. And here's my pork chow fan with fried siomai and water spinach with bagoong.
Pay attention to me, I don't talk for my health.
I want you on my team.
So does everybody else.
Baby, we can keep it on the low. Let your guards down, ain't nobody gotta know. If you with a girl, I know a place we can go.
What kind of girl?
I can swear, I can joke. I see what's on my mind. If I drink, if I smoke, I keep up with the guys, and you see me holding up my middle finger to the world. Your ribbons and your pearls, 'cause I'm not just a pretty girl. I'm more than just a picture. I'm a daughter and a sister. Sometimes it's hard for me to show that I'm more than just a rumor or a song on your computer.
This Cajun chicken pasta is one of my favorite recipes to make. It's creamy, cheesy, and spicy, just the way I like it. Marinate the chicken with all the spices on the screen for at least half an hour. Shallow fry both sides until it's well done. Just look at that chicken. Now in the same pan, add in some crushed garlic and red chilies. Saute them for a minute or two. Add in 1 chopped onion, let it cook together. To this, add in tomato paste and chili paste. Give it a good mix and add in 1 diced tomato and yellow bell pepper. Add in 1 cup cream and 1 cup pasta water with chicken stock cube. Once it starts simmering, add in rest of your spices. To this, add in dried parsley, chili flakes and grated parmesan. I also added a blend of mozzarella and cheddar to make it more cheesy. Add in some salt to taste, and finally you can add in your cooked pasta. Combine it well with the sauce. This is starting to look really good. Now you can plate it. It smells amazing and you won't be disappointed with this recipe. It's so flavorful. Top it off with the cooked chicken and enjoy.
Sick and tired of it. Everyone's saying, oh my god, I love a Frappuccino. We're gonna make one with actual coffee. Pot, 1 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of water, mixed together, onto the stove, heat medium high. Once melted, let that boil. Once it turns a nice amber color, whisk in 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Whoa, brother. Pour into a heat-proof container, let that cool completely. So it looks like this. Blender, 2 cups of ice, 1/2 cup of cold brew, 3/4 cup of milk, 3 to 4 tablespoons of caramel. Blend, while blending, 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Caramel, your Frappuccino. Nice little whirl. And of course, some of that. Oh, I think we might have did something right here. Straw.
Oh my gosh, that's delicious. Thank you.
Who needs Starbucks drink job?
You might be surprised by how easy it is to make crepes at home. Here's a basic recipe you can try for yourself. Start by sifting pastry flour into a large bowl. Next, add 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1/4 teaspoon of salt to the flour and whisk to combine. Now it's time to add the wet ingredients, starting with milk, followed by 2 whole eggs. Give the batter a really good whisk. This isn't like pancake batter where you want to leave lumps. For the ideal crepe batter, you need it super smooth, so to ensure there are absolutely no lumps, strain the batter through a sieve and use a spatula to push it through. Now you're ready to start cooking. Melt some butter in a non-stick or cast iron pan over medium heat. Use a ladle to scoop a portion of the batter into the pan, then gently swirl the pan so the batter spreads out evenly across the surface. Cook for about 1 minute, then use a spatula to gently flip the crepe and cook for about another minute on the other side. This recipe will make roughly 8 to 10 crepes of this size. You're now ready to add any filling you like. We stuck with the classic Nutella, but fruit or jam would be amazing as well. Fold the crepe into quarters and you're ready to serve.
Oh, yeah!
Football and chicken wings are a match made in heaven. Here's how you can make super crispy dry rub chicken wings in the oven. If you buy whole chicken wings, you'll need to first separate them by cutting off the wingtip, then slicing along the joint between the drumette and the wingette with a very sharp knife. Discard the wingtips and place the other pieces in a large bowl. Now for the secret ingredient, baking powder. This is what's going to make the wings get super crispy in the oven. Make sure you're not using baking soda though, since that would affect the flavor of the wings. Season with salt and pepper, or do what we did and add Cosmos Q SPG rub, which is a combination of salt, pepper, and garlic. Mix in the seasoning, then place your wings on a wire rack over a lined baking sheet for easy cleanup. Start off baking at 250 Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. The low temperature will start cooking the wings and render the fat without drying them out. After 30 minutes, this is what the wings will look like. At this point, turn the oven up to 425 and continue baking for 40 to 50 minutes. At this point, you can toss in your favorite sauce or sprinkle with dry rub like Cosmos Q Hot Dirty Bird for a spicy kick. Give the wings a toss and you're ready to serve. Did you know that you can also prepare Yorkshire pudding in a skillet? Here's how. First of all, you'll need 1.5 cups of Yorkshire pudding batter. You can find our recipe in a previous video. Next, add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil with a high smoke point to a cast iron skillet, then place in a 450-degree oven for 10 minutes to heat up. When it's so hot it's smoking, quickly pour in your batter. It should start cooking right away, then return to the oven for 10 minutes until it has quadrupled in size. Serve with your favorite roast dinner or even just enjoy as a snack.
This one actually tastes like honey graham crackers. Check it out.
The perfect guacamole recipe is very much up for debate, but here's our version of this delicious Mexican dip. We started by adding 3 medium-sized tomatillos, 2 jalapenos, half an onion, and 2 cloves of garlic to a dry cast iron pan over medium heat. The goal here is to get a good char on all sides, so you'll need to keep an eye on these and flip them every so often until the skin has blackened and the veggies are cooked through. This will take roughly 20 minutes. When they look similar to this, it's time to remove them from the heat. Now you just need to trim off and discard the root of the onion and the stems of the peppers, then add everything else to a blender and blend until the veggies are broken up but still a little chunky. Next, to a bowl, add the flesh of 2 large ripe avocados, then season with a few pinches of salt and pepper, followed by the juice of half a lime. Drizzle in roughly 2 tablespoons of olive oil, then mash the avocados with a fork or a potato masher until the mixture is creamy but not completely smooth. Now it's time to pour in your pureed roasted veggies, followed by half a raw onion finely diced and a big handful of finely chopped cilantro. Mix everything together, taste and adjust the seasoning based on your preferences, then you're ready to serve with tortilla chips. You can make this creamy mac and cheese in about 15 minutes and using only 3 ingredients. Start by adding 6 ounces of elbow macaroni to a pot, then pouring in just enough water to cover it. Turn the heat to high and bring up to a boil, stirring frequently. Once most of the water has been absorbed by the pasta and it's nearly completely cooked, pour in 6 ounces of evaporated milk, then bring back to a boil. Next, add your cheese, reduce the heat to low, and stir constantly until the cheese has melted and a smooth, creamy sauce has formed. You can now season with salt and pepper or any other seasonings you like and serve immediately. You've probably heard by now that McDonald's China released a Spam Oreo burger in December of 2020. Since it was only available for 1 day and only in China, we decided to make our own and see what all the fuss was about. First, squeeze mayonnaise onto both sides of a lightly toasted sesame seed bun, then add 2 slices of pan-fried Spam, and finally, to make this sandwich truly bizarre, sprinkle the top with chopped up Oreo cookies. Okay, so here's the verdict. If you're a fan of the sweet and savory combination, you might actually like this. But as someone who prefers my sweet and salty flavors separate, this was definitely not the burger for me. The crunch from the cookies was interesting though. Here's how you make a giant 2-pound Nutella-filled heart. You'll need to start by tempering your chocolate in the microwave in 15-second intervals. Stir after each burst in the microwave until the chocolate is about 3/4 of the way melted. Now you need to start taking the temperature to ensure it doesn't go above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Continue microwaving, stirring, and measuring the temperature until the chocolate has completely melted. Next, prepare your mold by brushing the inside with an even coat of edible gold luster dust. Once the interior of the mold is completely gold, use a clean paintbrush or a pastry brush to paint a layer of chocolate over the gold luster dust. The chocolate will now need to chill and set in the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes. When the shell is completely firm, pour in 2 pounds of Nutella or as much as it takes to almost completely fill the mold. Spread it out as best you can, but don't worry too much, it will settle into place as it chills in the fridge. After 30 minutes, pour the remaining chocolate over top and spread it out so the Nutella is completely covered. This now needs to chill for at least another 10 minutes until the top layer of chocolate is completely set. Before you break this open, make sure it is at room temperature. What do you get when you combine cake with lollipops? Cake pops, of course. You can basically use any kind of cake for this. We had some leftover poppy seed cake, but a simple boxed cake will work fine. Break the cake up into a fine crumb with your hands. When the pieces are roughly the same size, add a heaping spoonful of frosting. Now use your hands again to incorporate the frosting into the cake crumbs. The consistency you're looking for is similar to Play-Doh. It should hold together without being sticky. Use a tablespoon to measure out roughly 2 tablespoons of dough, then roll them between your palms to form an even ball and repeat this for the rest of the dough. Next, dip the end of a popsicle or cake pop stick into melted chocolate. Stick the chocolate covered end into a ball of dough and repeat for each cake pop. These now need to chill in the fridge for about 10 minutes, just until the chocolate has hardened. Now all that's left to do is dip your cake pop in more melted chocolate of your choice. Make sure the cake is completely covered and allow all the excess chocolate to drip off before decorating with sprinkles and cooling for another 10 minutes or so. We've got another wrap hack video for you. This time it's a dessert version. Start with a crepe, then cut a slit from the center to the bottom edge. Scoop a heaping spoonful of Nutella onto the bottom left corner and spread it out into a triangle. Next, place a handful of mini marshmallows into the top left corner. If you have a cooking blowtorch, you could even lightly toast the marshmallows. For the next topping, we use some homemade cranberry jam, or you can use any kind of jam you like. Finally, spread a large scoop of smooth peanut butter onto the last quarter of the crepe, and it's time to fold. This wrap was definitely pretty sweet, but the cranberry jam was tart enough to cut through the sweetness a little, so in my opinion, this was actually pretty good. Today we're testing out Sam the Cooking Guy's spicy garlic butter pasta, but we won't take 17 minutes to show you. First of all, start boiling water and add about a tablespoon of salt. Once it comes out to a boil, add your pasta. We use spaghetti, but you can pretty much use any shape you like. While your pasta cooks, start preparing your sauce by heating olive oil in a pan over medium heat, then adding butter and allowing it to melt. Now add thinly sliced garlic and sliced red chili peppers. Cook this down, stirring occasionally until the garlic has browned but not burned. We put our own twist on the recipe by adding fresh lemon zest to brighten it up a bit. By this time, your pasta should be cooked al dente, so it's time to add it to the pan and give it a little stir to coat in the oil. This next step is key. Add a splash of the pasta water. The starch in the water will help thicken the sauce and really bring everything together. Sprinkle in grated Parmesan. We used roughly half a cup, and stir, then remove from the heat. Just before serving, sprinkle with more grated Parmesan and some freshly chopped parsley for a little color. If you want to get fancy with your plating, use a carving fork to twirl a portion like Jon Favreau in the movie Chef. Then you're ready to dig in. We used Canadian chocolate bars and sweet spreads to create this uber sweet wrap hack recipe. Start with a crepe. Cut a slit from the center to the bottom edge, and then it's time to start assembling. To the first quadrant, we spooned on a quick caramel sauce, which we made by combining melted caramel candies with a little condensed milk and stirring. Next, we spread vanilla frosting into the top left corner. We then added a big spoonful of smooth peanut butter to the next section. And finally, spread Nutella over the last quarter of the crepe. But we didn't stop there. To the caramel sauce section, we added broken up pieces of caramel bars, which is a caramel-filled chocolate bar. We then added pieces of Aero Bar, which is a bubbly milk chocolate bar, to the vanilla frosting, followed by slices of Wonder Bar to the peanut butter, since Wonder Bars have a peanutty nougat filling. Finally, for a little color and crunch, we added Smarties, which are kind of like M&Ms, to the last section. Starting from the bottom left corner, fold up, then to the right, and finally down. I'm going to be honest here, I couldn't eat more than one bite of this, but if you love sweet things or you have a lot of friends to share with, it might be worth trying if only for the fun of it. You can make this simple cake with just 3 ingredients. Here's how. Start by blending 350 grams of your favorite store-bought cookie in a food processor. We chose graham crackers, but you can pretty much use any kind of cookie that you like. Add the finely crushed cookies to a large bowl, then sprinkle in baking powder through a sieve. This is what's going to make your cake rise so it's fluffy instead of hard and dense. Whisk together, then pour in warm milk. Now use a spatula to thoroughly mix everything together. Once it has the consistency of a cake batter, pour into a 7-inch square pan lined with parchment paper that overhangs slightly. Gently shake the pan to remove any air bubbles and even out the top, then pop in the oven at 340 Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. You can test if it's fully cooked by piercing the center with a skewer or toothpick. If it comes out clean, the cake is fully cooked. Remove from the pan and invert onto a clean cutting board or plate. Gently peel off the parchment paper and allow the cake to cool completely. Once it's cooled, top your cake with your favorite icing. Here we used a simple white chocolate ganache. Try this recipe at home and let us know which cookies you used and how it went. This is the most basic pancake recipe that you can make at home. Mix flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt in a large bowl. Make a well in the middle of the dry ingredients, then pour in milk, crack in an egg, and add a couple tablespoons of vegetable oil. Mix until just combined, then start heating some vegetable oil in a non-stick pan over medium heat. Pour about 1/3 of a cup of batter into the center of the pan, then wait until you see many bubbles popping on the surface of the batter. That's how you know it's time to flip your pancake. Let it cook for about 2 more minutes, then you're ready to serve. Seriously, so simple. Here's how you can make classic French toast. To a bowl, add 2 eggs, brown sugar, and mix. Then add milk, cinnamon, vanilla, and a pinch of salt. Mix it together and then dip in your favorite bread. You want to coat the bread without making it too soggy. Fry your French toast in butter on both sides until they're brown and crispy, and then you're ready to serve with maple syrup and fresh fruit.